Um, that went fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I'm going to see if I can make this work. I'm very aggravated at this stupid software. Um, so if you guys are around, if you want to pop in, I'm going to hang out. I told you I'm doing a live, so even though the system is freaking broke, um, even though the system is broke, I'm still going live, damn it, because that's how I roll. I'm not gonna let it. I'm gonna go live on my phone. So we're doing the phone live, and it's gonna like it. I'm gonna log on to my own show. That way I can get chat better. There we go. That's okay, yeah. So bear with me. Cool. Now at least I have a version of chat that's easier to keep up with than the phone. All right, Taylor Made is here. What's up, man? Oh, am I going to go live at the Midwest SPL show? Yeah. Play It and Live It's here. Mr. K Dog is here. What's up, man? I hadn't actually gone live from a show in a while. It's just a real pain in the butt. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. White Rambo is here. What's up, White Rambo? How far is that show from me? The next Midwest SPL show is right down the street. It's right here in town, so it ain't far. And it won't be hot this time. That's one thing about these fall shows. A little walk. Let me get my stuff together. We're gonna go outside because outside is fun. Yeah, we're going sideways. Yeah, whoa, that was dangerous. See, that's what happens when you drink too much. You wind up sideways like that. And then, shit. Hey, man, appreciate you, El Fuego. Ugh. Let me get my big butt up here. We're going action cam tonight because I broke the stupid software. And I am so not good at fixing it. But, see, Boney Jeff over there in the corner, he's chilling. We're going. Whoa, dizzy. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna have to get my head back. I got up too fast. My blood runs out of my head. And, yeah. And, I get real dizzy for a minute. And I have to kind of wait for that to correct itself. But we're getting there. Oh, man. All right. Yeah. That's what happens when you're live, man. All the stuff is on the table, I need to get my keys. I'll go back and check out the chat here in just a minute. It's hard to do it on the mobile device. I have to stand up like a grandpa. If I stand up normally, the act of standing up causes all the blood to run out of my head, and it's a bit like pulling, 5 or 6 G's for a normal person. You about pass out. I experience about that same level of degradation, and so I have to stand up real slow to keep that from happening. But life is full of problems, hurdles and obstacles that you got to fight your way through. It ain't easy for anybody. Everybody has different problems, different solutions, but it's not easy for anybody. But we're out here in Tahoe land. Yeah, we'll come outside, and one of the benefits of coming out here is I can put you guys on the tripod, and then I'm going to try to get back and read some of y'all's chats. Fortunately for me, my neighborhood is chill enough where people don't really mess with my stuff back here behind the house. And I get homeless people over here and dumpster divers over here all the time. All day and all night they're back there, especially on the weekends. And the crazy thing is, look, out here, there's speakers, there's wire, there's tools, stuff back here all the time, and they don't mess with it. And I've developed a good relationship with those guys. I've been really nice to them, and I'm always polite to them. I tell them, look, man, go out there and dig, find stuff that's cool. I totally dig that. Just don't leave it on the ground. Clean up after you're done, and I won't bother you. Never call the cops on you. Nothing. I said, y'all treat me right, I'll treat you right. That's what I've always told them. Oh, Bobby, hang on a minute. I'll check out my Ninja T-Square. Yeah, cool, right? I think Bobby B sent me this. So, I gotta loosen this part up right down here. Y'all can't see nothing. Hang on a minute. All right, I loosened it up. So, you can adjust this at any angle you want, and also different lengths. So when you have it set at the max on the right angle, it sits on a piece of 4-foot material, and that comes all the way to that end from this ledge right here down is 4 feet. It's very cool. I'm getting ready to put it to work in a serious way here shortly. It's going to be building a whole lot. Oh. But all right, let me cycle through these comments. It's hard to do this on my phone. The log ruler. The log is it's around behind the building. I still have my log. Can't get rid of the log. Let's see here. Okay, let's go back up. Goodness gracious, a lot of people commented. Okay, this is tricky, so you're going to see my thumb a lot. Taylor said, "What's up, bass brother?" Yeah, I will be going to the Midwest show. Hawaii. Yep. White Rambo. There's Bobby. Much love. I know that. How far? Yeah. All right. Jerry Garcia. He said lots of highs. White Rambo. Thinking about going to a show outside of Nashville. It'll be my first one since '96. Prepare to have your mind blown. You'll be in a very familiar place. You won't feel out of place too much, but you're going to experience a whole lot too. All right, where we at here? Now I missed some stuff. Come on back down here. Sixth order. Yeah, we're going out. We're outside. Okay, now we're back caught up. Taylor made. Thinking about going. It's a couple hours from me to St. Louis. Only about 30. I don't know what that is. Minutes, I guess. Oh, dude. St. Louis, I won't be at St. Louis, man. Sorry. I appreciate the awesomeness and the, but I won't be there. Let's see. Going outside. Yeah, Bobby V. Fuego said the sixth order with 615s is going to be windy AF, just like Jerry. I hope I'm as windy as Jerry, but don't crawl under the coffee table again. No, I plan on crawling under that coffee table. That's how you practice getting the subs in. And also entertain the wife. And as long as you're entertaining the wife, you stay married, and that's a good thing. Bobby said just have to transfer over to ABS. Free demos? Always. I don't charge for demos. Taylor said, too bad. I meant to Raleigh one today. Well, you're not too far from me. The show in Raleigh, I would have been to that show if I'd have realized it was happening. I probably would have tried to go. But just get to Springfield next. Yeah, it's next Sunday. It's coming up Sunday, or next Sunday. Springfield, Missouri, to the SPL show. That's where you want to be. I will be there. Kelly, which one would hit harder? What's he referring? Okay. What do you think about the Sound Cube 415 compared to the Sound Sundown version ZV715? Son, that's a lot of big subs. Oh crap! It's hard to read this. It keeps trying to fade out. Stupid freaking! I hate this software. At least it's working though. The Team GP undertaking. Out of all of those, I can tell you straight up, the Team GP Undertaker version 2, or the Sundown ZV7, but I would pick the GP sub out of all those. It would be close between those two, but I think it's a better. I think it's going to do lows better and wind better than a little bit better than the Sundown sub. Jason Kelly, I'm no bass head, but I like to skip past the massive. I'd skip past the massive in Orion. It depends. Depends on price, man. You know, some of this stuff is really crazy expensive, and is it worth the is it worth the amount of money that you're going to jump up, you know? I mean, yeah, the Team GP version 2 is definitely going to destroy most of the subs in that lineup, but it's also like a what, $1,300 sub, you know. So if one of those other subs is like a $600 sub, then I wouldn't say the difference is going to be that much, you know, as far as the difference in price. I don't think it's but if you want to get stupid, about the stupidest thing I know is the Undertaker version 2. That is a stupid sub. You planning for the lower section tuning? The fifth, now screw that piece of shit, man. Red Pill. It's not a bad sub. They just want to they want to charge way too much for it. My lower section tuning. Still talking about it, but it's probably going to be somewhere around 24 to 26 hertz. I want to be able to play. I want to be able to play like 15 hertz on the edge, and be able to play 19 hertz pretty solid. The low stuff, I like playing the low stuff. And here's the thing: if your port is working at 19, 20 hertz, if your port is working at that tune, it's stupid low and it's really, really good. If you're listening to, 19 hertz and you're tuned to like high 20s or 30s, it's just going to be wind. But if you actually get it to where it's tuned at that point, you get some really interesting lows, and it's different from anything else that you experience. It definitely hits different. Where'd you guys go? Hey Bobby, Kelly said the Orion XPLX. Yeah, I would definitely pick the Team GP over that. W says Bumblebee Tuna. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, the lows? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you may be right. My neighbor's not here right now, but my wife is in bed, so I'd crank it up and give you guys some bass, but I don't particularly want to piss off my boss, you know what I'm saying? But I really would. I'd just crank it up and let it fly. If she was awake, I wouldn't mind. So the massive is all over the place. Let me see here. Some seem okay, some terrible. Yep, agree. Yep, around zero, I agree. You can't tell the good from the bad. Orion specs or what? Come on. Orion specs are all over the place. They used to be a good company. I agree with all that. all of those are decent subs, but none of them touch the Team GP version 2. I've heard one. It's stupid mode, man. Let me tell you. I try to stick with reliable brands, with accurate specs. There's plenty of good brands out there. Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. But like I said, I've heard one. I've heard what it does just sitting there on the table, free air, and it'll shake the whole building with free air. Not even in an enclosure. You feel the walls start shaking and shit. They have a bottomless motor. You basically can't bottom them out. They don't have the ability to bottom out. Lows, there's nothing out there that's going to play lows like that Team GP sub. It's just outside of my personal price range. My wife don't mind, but we have to respect her. And exactly. So when she went to bed, and if she was awake, I wouldn't mind bothering her, because she would be like, "Oh hell, he's just doing the thing." I don't want to wake her up shaking the house. So that's just rude, man. And that's called respect, I mean, she don't never complain when I'm playing bass in my studio at night, watching movies and listening to music. And so I don't push my luck with it either. I wonder how many watts you can feed that GP sub. It's rated at 10,000 or 5,000 watts RMS. I know that it can take 10,000 watts RMS for short periods, and probably substantially more than that for burps. So a lot. It can take a lot. But if you guys are still trying to hold on to your budget, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Kelly said, I don't know if I have room to run to. I don't know. I can't remember what the requirement on airspace is for it. But yeah, it'll blow your freaking mind, dude. If you guys are still wanting to work on a budget, though, Slapz has got some really good stuff coming in September, this month. Okay, so just giving you the heads up. There's stuff coming in September. There's new stuff coming in September. I can't tell you what it is or anything about it. I can just tell you, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't, because I'll be probably one of the very first that you're going to hear from. So, let's see here. Good info. Kelly, she's going big. Hell yeah. No, I wish. The Slapz from DSP, no. Not yet, anyway. Always go big. What are we doing here? Wait a minute. Come back up there. Just tuned in. Glad you're streaming tonight, working on a C-pillar flat wall. So you gave me lots of inspiration and motivation. And there went somebody with a trailer load of washing machines. They like to cut through the parking lot. Why does that never want to show up? Stupid. My God, this thing is annoying. Okay, maybe it's here. Live chat, maybe that'll work. All right, yeah, I think that's gonna work. Always go big. Maples Gamer said, just tuned in. Glad you're streaming tonight. Working on a C-pillar flat wall. I gave him inspiration and motivation. You're doing well. Yeah, I am doing the best I can. GZ52 said, are the JL wedge boxes tuned to about 40 hertz? Brother, I don't know, because you're, number one, you're classifying all of the JL wedge boxes into one category, and I can assure you that they're not all tuned to the same frequency. However, knowing JL and the way they tune, you're probably not too far off with that guesstimation. Usually you can get away with playing mid-20s on the JL wedge, depending on which one but most JL stuff plays pretty low. But it's more going to be centered up around the mid-30s and up. So, and that's a rough ballpark thing that I'm saying. It's a blanket statement that shouldn't be made, but that's my best statement that I can give you at the time. I really like JL subs. I've always liked JL subs. Especially if you're doing a low cubic foot box. You're trying to do a very small box, sealed boxes. If you're wanting something that's going to do SQ really well, I've always liked JL subs for that. I don't think many others are better than them in that department. As far as the big boy subs, they don't even do that no more. They don't understand that concept anymore. They've completely abandoned it. JL pretty much don't even exist in the market that most of us are in. They're just not part of that market. Unless you're a hardcore SQ guy, JL doesn't really make anything that's going to do big SPL numbers. Anybody else got any questions? I'm trying to see the stupid chat. I'm fighting this chat thing, man. It's kicking my butt. I'm going to go in there and finish figuring out how to get that my restream working properly again after the show, but you know, it is what it is. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Honestly, I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to doing all the work back here. There's so much that has to be done. It's like everything is based on this back door, though. So, for those of you that don't know, we'll talk about it a little bit. Probably not going to be able to see anything. It's pretty dark in there. Kelly said I had 3 JLW6s 18 years ago. And it's doing that stupid crap again. 18 go kicker ZR amp smoked them. Yep, that's a problem. How big of an amp should I get for 2 resilient sound gold 18s? I have to look up the specs on those. Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. Play it notice said, hey, question, the Slapz 160 amp mini that work well in cold weather. Dude, that amp is an absolute beast. I don't care what you do with it. That little 160 watt 5.4 amp, the Slapz mini 160.4, that amp is a freaking beast, and it don't matter what you throw it at. I reckon it can probably run 4 subs pretty good. I'm doing my studio, all my studio power. Well, I had it all running through there. Now I've got 2 channels from it, and then that Hayanka 1500 watt power my sub in there. And guys, that system kicks ass. I guarantee you I'm doing 140 dB in my studio. Real close to it anyway. It gets down in there. But the problem that you run into is what fits back here. What fits through this hole. Because I don't want to do a build-in. Build-ins require that I crawl in here and get inside and work inside the vehicle. If I do a slide in, I can build it on the table over here and then just shove the whole thing in after it's mostly done. And that's what I got in my brain, man. Let's see if I can turn this around. I don't know if I can get the light to come on with this stupid thing. No, there's not a light option. Can't really see much. But you can see these corners up there. That's the problem right there, is that angle. So I have to build the thing to fit inside this gasket right here to slide in, which is the limiting factor, is how big this hole is back here. And that's where all the limits come in at. But and the numbers, I think we're looking at are like 70 inches long, front to back. 48 inches wide on the bottom, and after you go up about 24 inches or so in that range, then you have to go back in on an angle and shave off about 6 inches. When you drop back 6 inches off the 70, so you go up on a 70, and then at 24 you turn, and this angle up here is so it'd be 6 inches, 70, 66, 60, yeah, 66 inches. So you go from 70 to 66 inches, and that gives you this angle back here, which is where the amp wall is probably going to be. And on the sides, over here on the, well, on these edges, how it turns in this way, I'm hoping, honestly, I could have swore I had that box that I got slid in there trimmed to 44, but when I was looking at it, I think I had it go in at 48, which I can't even imagine it fitting in that gasket at 48. I don't know why. For some reason, that seems like what I did. I could have swore I did 44 when I put that box in there. Let's see if I'm missing any chat, because my chat is a jerk. Okay. Yeah, I'm missing some stuff. Let's see here. Let me go down here. Why is this not showing up? It's so annoying. How big of an amp? Yeah, I don't know about that. Slapz amps. Just looking at the temperature operation of it, I don't see it. Dude, I don't know. I hadn't had it in like crazy cold winters yet, but I can't imagine that being a problem. Electronics love the cold. Have you had a chance to hear Audio Dynamics Master Series 3-way components? Yes. My buddy Carmel has them in his truck. He's an authorized dealer for them, and they're badass. But good Lord, they're expensive. Hey Kelly, man, appreciate you. Subdano man said, "Do I commit to a design?" Not 100%. Jerry Ain't Loud's S10 bill says it's awesome. It's in a smaller vehicle, but you could copy that design, slide it in the Tahoe. Probably. I know it's a lot, but I don't think building it, do I think building it inside is easier? Just a brain teaser question. So, alright, so I'm good at standing up. Okay? I can stand up and work on stuff for quite a while. I'm good at sitting down. I can sit down and work on stuff for quite a while. What I can't do very well is bend over or get down on my knees or crawl and wiggle into places. That I don't do very well. So, I'm gonna move because that stupid air conditioner decided it was time to come on, because obviously it needs to run. I'm gonna move us over here because the sound is always better when the air conditioner's on if I'm over here on the side. Well, oh, that reminds me, I need to plug that thing in. I'll plug in this thing. I got this little charger that I keep plugged in because my tablet stays hooked up to the battery and it sits there and charges. So to keep the battery from, or to keep it topped off whenever I'm sitting for more than a day or so, I plug this little cheap $8 charger, super cheap little charger. I hook this up to my battery and it maintains the voltage. It'll set at about 13.6 whenever it's topped off all the way, which is perfect for that lithium thing. It normally rests at 13.2, so it sits and holds it a little bit higher than its resting voltage, which is perfect. I literally bought that charger for $8 off of Amazon. And it charges it like an amp and a half or something like that. It's 1 amp to 1.5 amps. So it'll drop down whenever it reaches stable voltage. and that little smiley face goes from red, which is what it is right now, to green when it's hitting that level. It's basically like those battery tenders, but about 60 times cheaper, and it's also not weatherproof. That's the big downside with that charger is you don't want to have it out in the weather because it's not weatherproof at all. Not even, it doesn't even claim to be. But for what I do, it works perfect. And I always pull my cord out here. That way when I come out here, if I'm going to go somewhere, I don't forget and drive off with the damn and pull the extension cord in too. I've done that twice to this cord. But we keep it going. Let's see what else is going on here, because this stupid chat window. I hate this chat window. It works better when I'm on my when I'm on vertical, but a lot of you guys like horizontal. So if I'm on vertical, I can keep up with it. Play it, live it. Building inside's easier. Do you know any rivals? Telemate said, do you know any rivals for budget-ish 5K for Rampage under 600 bucks clip light? Yep, I do. I'll do a slider. Oh, a 2-piece slider? Yeah, I thought about that too. Crisscross. Applesauce is sitting whole bill. Can't wait to, I can't bend over long. Yeah, I know, man. I got to do what I got to do. 6-order yoga. Think a battery be fine sitting a month. I have a large parasitic drain. Yes. What will be a budget-ish amp? You got the 3K to 5K and the 8K and the Slapz shock amps. And I think the 8K is like 300 bucks. And dude, after a real life power, after Rise come up to like 3.5 ohms, wired at 1 ohm, with it rising up to 3.5 ohms, I was still making over 5,000 watts off of one of those. So they do their power. That's actually higher than their rating, quite a bit higher than their rating. They do their power, they sound great, and they're stupid reliable. I haven't had one shut off on me from heat, even after the fans, one fan exploded. Exactly, dude. I'm just telling you, you ask. If you head over to Slapz and use my discount code CAE, and you can save 10% off of that price. So, and there's not a, I mean, at the price, there's nothing out there that competes. There's nothing out there that competes. Even at a significantly higher price, you're still not going to beat them. One last question before I have to go. Have you heard of Surge Audio amps? Surge, no. Come on, come back, you stupid freaking thing. Oh my God, have you heard of Surge Audio amps? The PS 10,000.1 version 2 specs. 10,000 watts at 1 ohm and 14. I've heard of Surge Audio, but I can't speak on the equipment. I mean, all I would be able to do is research them and see what I think. I honestly can't speak on them because I haven't heard them, and I don't have any friends that are using them. So I try to, so service premium price, gotcha. I try to watch for brands that, I see them in the competition in the lanes all the time, and the stuff, like, one of my favorite things to see happen is when somebody blows a sub. And I don't like to see somebody blowing a sub, but when I see someone blow a sub and it doesn't take an amp with it, okay, I take a hard look at that amp, because blowing a sub is a very easy way to blow an amp. that sudden short circuit can absolutely pop an amp. So wherever you see a sub blown or two and the amps are still in good shape, that's a good sign they're solid. Surge, Ruthless, and Gately are all impressive. Yeah, fair. But I watch for the amps that win a lot, that pull really big numbers. Watch for the amps that survive repeated weekends without any problems. Stuff like that. I also watch for the amps that make noise. They're noisy whenever this music is turned down. All that kind of stuff is what's interesting to me. So I'm paying attention to things that are happening and how the subs and the amps are taking the abuse and what type of abuse. Those are all relevant to the stuff that I do. So I'm looking at that. It isn't just what's my favorite piece of equipment. I want to see what equipment comes in the same every week and doesn't blow up. The combination of equipment that runs every week and doesn't blow up. All that kind of stuff. These are all very important data points that if you're not paying attention to that stuff, then you're buying stuff just based on a sales pitch. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand what the hell you're buying and how it really works in the real world. So in the real world, I've ran all year on these 4 Oblivion 15s without any issues, zero. And these Shock 8Ks, zero issues. Never had any of these Slapz amps turn off from heat. They don't make any noise. They get down, they do the stuff. They are bang, rinse, repeat equipment, man. I mean, they're solid. Every single piece of Slapz gear I haven't had any of it fail for any reason. Yep. A Fuego to the Slapz 8Ks, $349 before the CAE 10% discount. Absolutely. The Maples Gamer, the real question is how thick am I going to make the sidewalls? It starts cutting into the side of the box space. Yep. My Tahoe is 48 inches wide, 3 layers, takes up 3 inches on both sides. Yep. I was thinking about Assault 10 or 12K from Surge Audio. Yeah, okay. Thickness. Well, thickness does 2 things. One, it takes away from the internal volume, as he said. It also takes away from how much money is in your wallet. And we have to consider both of those things, in the world. That's what I have multiple budgets to keep in mind. So what I'm probably going to do, and I'm kind of an engine nerd. I'm not an engineer, but I kind of think like one. 4.3 cents per watt is crazy. See, he's a nerd. He's an engineer. He's an engineer. I'm an engine nerd. So meaning I don't do numbers well, but I can see a design in my head and I can make it work in my head. I see it as an image, a picture, a moving picture. Now what I'm thinking about is probably going to be doing 2 layers on the sides and then doing additional bracing on the outside of the box. A couple of braces that run edgewise to the flat to add a little more rigidity there. And I've been working it over in my head, trying to come up with a good plan. But I'm probably going to do 2 layers and then brace it as much as I can. Let's talk about custom speaker pods. El Fuego says 1 is very expensive. Bobby says, yeah, I got some customspeakerpods.com, used my discount code CAE and was able to buy a Tahoe. Hell yeah, man. You gotta, if you ain't buying tacos, you ain't doing it right. I don't even like Taco Bell as a company. I hate them. I really do. They're destroying their own market, just like Cracker Barrel. Sub Dino message I got back. See, $50 for a 4x8 sheet. Well, that's depending on what quality of wood that is. That's actually not terrible. Nowadays, 10 cents per watt is good. Hell yeah. Home Depot, $50 for a 4x8 sheet. Yeah, I'm probably going to be using pine. I'm not going to be using complete junk plywood, but it's not going to be, it won't be that absolute crap, but it'll be like one level up from that. Because I just can't afford to buy that high-end shit, you know. I think it's going to be around $30 a sheet, something like that, 30 something. Recycled pallets, yeah, for thickness. I'm going to try cardboard now, yeah. MDF. And I'm not going to do MDF. I may end up having to do some MDF, but the vast majority of what I'm looking at is going to be plywood, not MDF. It's just too heavy, man. I don't. Weight catches up to you fast. Wald, Jenny said, I want to trade my Big Boss 8K for something. Cheapo 12K. Hold on. Oh shit. Cheapo 12K. Probably just buy one and keep the 8Ks for a backup. Just get 2 of the Slapz Shock 8Ks, man. Problem solved. Grease bomb tacos from the Jack in the Box. Ooh, I may have to check that out. 7-ply pine, 3/4 inch thick, $47. God damn, son. Subdominus, I want to try that. Sandy. Maybe. Make it out of solid logs and steel. Still the show. Oh yeah. Triple wood. I'm going to do at least 3 layers on the I'm going to do at least 3 layers on the baffle. Sides, I don't know about for sure. I may do 3 layers on the bottom or the top. I don't know. I just don't know yet. But I'm going to do a 1-layer shell that's going to go in, and then the layers are going to go on. So here's how I'm going to do it. Here's how I've got it in my head. I'm going to cut the bottom piece and slide that in, and then do my final fitment based on that, the length, how far it goes in. I think 70 inches leaves me a few inches to play with, but I'm going to slide that bottom sheet in after it's cut down and make sure that it fits where I want it to fit in the vehicle. And then once I get that settled, I'm going to build up the sides and a single piece of roof. I'm going to tack on a piece of cross brace to keep it square, and I'm going to slide that in and make sure that it actually slides all the way in and fits in the vehicle. Then I'm going to cut the pieces that go underneath the baffle, that'll separate the baffle up, and those will go in. And at that point, once those are in and locked in place, I'll build the baffle. And then the baffle is going to go in subs loaded. It's going to get slid in with the subs loaded, so I don't have to crawl in there and load them that first time. And the roof is going to go on over the top of the other pieces of roof. The idea is when I get the whole thing slid in there, I'm going to come in over the top of it and slide in sheets over the top to layer over the top. And then I'm going to come in from the sides and try to put in some vertical braces between the top and my roof. Wedge some stuff in there to add a little bit more rigidity up there. But I don't know exactly how many or any of those details yet. That's kind of the gist of what I'm doing. And then we'll go back in and also add layers to the wall above the baffle. So the wall that holds the baffle will be a cutout like that. The baffle will sit in that cutout all the way to that last sheet, and then the interior will have 1 or 2 extra sheets under it and above it to hold it in place, right? Basically kind of a notch. Once it's done, it'll be notched. Let's see here. I'm going to use billet log build. Pine. Yeah. Cardi says it's going to be an epic build. Yes. It's going to be epic regardless. I promise you it's going to be epic. For the future questions. 2-ply with a lot of bracing and 3-ply baffle. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking. Nothing wrong with pine at all. I built some good enclosures with it. Yep. Yeah, 615s. Daryl Howard. Maple and pine and different veneers. Then 13-ply Russian birch is different. Yeah, your higher ply is heavier because it contains more adhesive, but it's also stronger in all directions. The higher ply count, and it doesn't tend to have as many voids inside of it. And voids are your enemy. They take away strength. But I mean, you pay significantly more for that, 13 and 15 count, 15 layer and 13 layer and shit wood. It's just a lot more expensive because it's all those thin layers are just more time consuming to put together, and it's also heavier. If I had that kind of money, I'd probably be using it and I'd be paying somebody else to build the damn thing. I have done this. When I was still driving a truck, guys, I spent probably 15 grand at a time, 10 grand at a stereo shop getting work done and getting stuff put in. It wasn't nothing for me to drop $10,000 in a stereo shop. But I'm not in that position anymore. Let's see here. Do you know the weight of the current system? It's not heavy. I don't know the weight of it, no. So don't overthink it, Gary. You're gonna rip out the new bill for something else within a year anyways. Do you know the weight of your current system? No. 655 gallon drum build. Hey, yeah, there you go. Jason said, I got to get the duck out of here, man. All right. Have a good night, Jason. Prepared yourself or a lot of car stereo window breakage jack shows. Yes. I plan on having a stripper pole. So that's the other thing is, and I'm going to get my buddy to make it for me. He's going to make it out of chain. So he's going to weld chain links together, and it's going to be pretty sick. I hope we can get that done. That's the plan. But it's going to come up from the bottom of the box and go up this direction toward the windshield roof joint, straight up like that, to give me some good solid bracing, because I don't really need to be replacing windshields all the time. And the way this is working out right now, I'm pretty sure we're going to be in the high 60s. I might even be able to hit the high 50s, excuse me, I may be able to hit a 60 in the perfect scenarios. I don't know for sure yet, but I'm planning on it at least being like a 57 or a 58. And if it's higher than that, then that's great. But I want it to be up in that area at least. And I want to be able to do numbers something like that at 24, 26 hertz. So I want to be able to hit big numbers at low frequencies. And that's my objective with this whole design. That's why it's taking time, is to get it right to where it's possible to hit really big numbers at low frequencies. You have to build it to do that. If you build it to do high SPL, that's not where you're going to be. You have to design the box and everything about it to do a specific job. If you're wanting to play super loud, super low, you have to build the box to play super loud, super low, and it's not going to do the other things. It's going to do that really well. Everything else is going to do okay. I don't care if I can't play 40 hertz. I got a little tiny front sub and a sealed box up there that can play that for me whenever I'm driving around. I want to be able to drop hammer low, deep guttural, earthquake shaking, ground breaking bass at a very high volume level. That's all I want that thing to do. The first thing is figuring out what you want, and then figuring out what you need to accomplish what you want, and staying on target. If you don't have a plan, then you're not going to succeed, because there's no way to fail or succeed. You know what I'm saying? You guys. Does anybody what the word? I can't speak English. Has anybody got any other questions for me tonight? And I will do my best to answer them. And I apologize about this format. I don't normally stream out here. Sometimes I guess it's cool. Maybe it was a blessing. Maybe you guys got to do something different tonight. That is kind of cool. So. And it is a good time of the year to do outside streams, but the problem is I can't hardly see what's going on the in the chat window. It's really hard for me to keep up with chat when I'm streaming this way, and that's about it. But all right, guys, I don't have any outro music tonight, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Let's get the duck out of here, baby. Y'all have a good night.